Greetings, everyone. I'm going to read Open Flames for you to segue into today's topic. Open Flames. What lies beneath life open flames? The souls of men hasten to take flight. Candlelight burns bright, a shadow unveil the secret of night. Who call us to reckoning when all our deeds imitate the wickedness of the forefathers? When will the penance be paid for untold confessions? Upon whose head will the axe fall when the truth is revealed? Mercy fails the innocent as blood-stained conscience sleeps. Darkness falls even at the break of dawn. Empty rhetoric takes prominence in the midst of madness. Pride boasts of its accomplishments as it negates truth. Goodness takes a fall when the world justifies death. Men in all their glory fall short of understanding, leaving the heart to question the purpose of wisdom. Mr. Andrew Holness, Jamaican Prime Minister. Contemplate on those words and position yourself to be a leader or to be a follower. I listened to your prayer, Mr. Andrew Holness, and though I hear you loud and clear, the truth of the matter is I hear fear. You have used the prayer as a way of telling the people, but the people of Jamaica are under a spell, and maybe one out of those hundreds of people might have heard you. Their spiritual eye might have been open. We need a spiritual leader. We need somebody who is outside of the flesh, somebody who is spiritual to lead the people to freedom. I hear you. I know exactly what you're saying, but what you fear to understand that the one that you pray to is the one that they gave you to keep you in subjugation. The one that you call upon to transmit this message to the people holds them in bondage. Mr. Andrew Holness, the prayer was a cry. It's on your face. It's that fear that grips you. The story that is the story of the black man. This is why I can't come here and even try to, look at the two stories that I heard in that prayer. This is why I can't pay attention to the one that would seem very obvious, as if you were using the old trick to placate the people, that you would be using the opium to seduce and quiet the people. But even if that's what you were doing, when we call upon the ancestors, they appear. They're ready to work. And while I am saying that politicians have done nothing but evil to their own people, I am saying that your name is Andrew. Perhaps in your vision and your dream for your life, you wanted to become a leader, and you found yourself in the position where you're now leader. But maybe you think it was for fame and glory, but maybe you're called to this position to be the one, to be that disciple. Sometimes we think our life is going in one direction for one thing or one purpose, and then we come to a wrong. We come to a crossroad, and we've got to make a decision. And so, Mr. Andrew Holness, I have said to you time and time again, tell the people the truth. Tell the people the truth. You have told them the truth, but they didn't hear you. Because unfortunately, we have abandoned our old traditional ways of doing things. We have lost touch with our roots. We have lost touch with our true spirit, that warrior spirit, that spiritual healing within ourselves, that we can then transmit that to the people and heal them too. Mr. Andrew Holness, I know what you're saying. If no one else hears you, I hear you. But you have to decide. if you're going to be a warrior, you will have to die. Or you will have to tell yourself it's okay to die. Because when you die in the physical, you live on in the spirit. Nelson Mandela was a warrior. He died. Even when he was still living. For when he was in captivity, when he was in prison, you know, that was a physical death. Not a physical death, but the freedom. His freedom died. Winnie Mandela, her freedom died. Castro financial freedom died. Bob Marley. All these individuals who surrendered their life to make a point that I want to be free. I want my people to be free. If you are fearful, you can be used for bad. Remember, the God you claim to be calling upon create all things in your mind. So if you call upon this God to free you from bondage, why would you not trust that you have no reason to fear man? You say you've sinned against the Jamaican people. Well, it's not late to correct it, because what you give into now, you will only be writing or signing that death order, for you will have to give into something else. And eventually there will come to a time when you're going to say, I cannot give anymore. I cannot do this. There are times when you're going to have to say, I will die. I'd rather die. Like Sam Sharp, you come from a country that produces some incredible people. Marcus Garvey, Sam Sharp, Nanny, Paul Bogle. These are your forefathers. These are the giants on whose shoulder you stand. They are but men. They're just men and women. And you can't say no. You can't say no, but you have to do it with courage. You can't say no. You can't say to your people, I'm going to say no, but I ask you for your support. You can't say no to the ones that hold you hostage, that threaten you. We understand. We understand that we are small. We are like just David. And Goliath is always there reminding us of his strength. But David did slew Goliath. You know that, right? Can't kill us all. They can't imprison us all. You can't imprison all of Jamaica if they say no to this. And if you show the people that this is where I'm at, because you tried to do that, but you were subliminal in the story that you told. You got to come out and ask the people to stand up with you. Because the thing that you're asked to do is not what you want to do, but you want to placate individuals. You're saying, I'm just David. I call upon the Almighty. I call upon God to be with me. You're calling upon God, assuming that this is not another trick to confuse the people. Assuming that this is your way of telling the people without incriminating yourself. I heard you loud and clear. But there comes a time that you have to stand. Our freedom rested with individuals who were not afraid to stand. Our freedom rested with Martin Luther King, Steve Biko, Malcolm X, all the individuals that said, no, I will not lay down. No, I will not surrender. No, I will not let you hold me hostage. You gotta take off the gloves. You can't kiss a snake. and think that snake will not come back to bite you. You can put fire to your bosom and not get burned. You can satisfy some people. Because the more they ask of you and the more you're willing to give, the more they will ask. There is no end in sight for individuals who wish to oppress or suppress. You can't reason with individuals who are hateful. You can't placate evil men and women in the world. You can't satisfy greed. These are spirits that only grow. The more you feed them, the more they grow. So while I understand what you're saying, the position that you're in, you'll be a great and noble leader when you say the Almighty or the universe or God or whosoever you choose to call upon. That is your prerogative. But I think it is in the best interest of the African people to stop calling upon the name of that one that they gave you to brainwash you, to keep you passive, the one that tells you to turn the other cheek, the one that tells you that the servant should honor the master. Those things have worked to destroy our people and empower the ones who want to keep you in bondage. You can say no. You can say no. Fear will immobilize you. Courage will push you forward. I heard you, Mr. Holness. And I'm assuming that you're sending the message to say, I am doing this. It's not in my control. There are others above me who are stronger. No, they're not. They're not stronger than you, because strength is in the mind and not in the body. Seek out your ancestors. Reach out to them and ask for their help. Go back to Emancipation Park and remove that statue of that naked man that leave us looking up with desperation. Because that's what they want for us. That's what they want for our people. Naked and desperate, always looking up. That's what you've done. You look naked and fearful and looking up, begging for help when it is in your hands. You've got the power to control your destiny, Mr. Holness. And the people of Jamaica will stand with you if you tell the truth and if you say no. But our people oftentimes don't like to suffer for a good cause. Our people want it here and now. They don't want to struggle for the freedom. So there are always going to be people on the side who is willing to take that bribe to sell out their own people instead of staying together for a national cause, a universal cause. African people around the world continue to suffer. Death and famine and disease and shame. And our ancestors are waiting for someone to stand up and say, no more. Pretty much like they did. They resisted all different kinds of ways throughout the 500 years of slavery and more. We still see today Black people still held in bondage, and it appears as if Black people are doing this when there are people behind the scenes driving this thing, showing us that we are still slaves. Mr. Andrew Holness, you're saying I'm just a man. I'm just a weak man who have to be subjected to these plans. But you don't, because it's not man that puts breath in your body. It's not man that controls your destiny. So when you pray, understand to whom you pray. When you ask for help, figure out who you're asking for this help. The people don't understand what you said, even though it was so clear, because of that same scripture that was given to them to close their spiritual eyes. They can see, they can hear physically, but spiritually they're dead, and they need a leader, a true leader. It is better to die as a real hero like Castro and many other leaders. Gaddafi is gone, but he's a hero because they might have tried to kill his efforts, but his intention cannot be killed. You will have to decide. And you can't use the name of God to trick the people if that's what you're doing. And you can't continue to use the same old bandages to cover these wounds. Nothing has changed. The one that holds you in captivity today will do it 500 years. It is just what it is. But there comes a time in humanity that we must stand together and say, enough is enough. Be blessed.